if the infantry does not carry. The war in Ukraine shows no signs of slowing down. As of May 4th, 2025, fighting continues at an intense pace on multiple fronts, especially in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. While Russian forces advance with heavy armor and artillery, Ukrainian troops rely on precision strikes, drone surveillance, and rapid mobility to counter any movement. The front lines are constantly shifting, and every day brings new risks, new tactics, and new consequences. Let's take a closer look at what's unfolding on the ground. While the Russian T-90 tank was attacking the front, it was attacked by RPGs from Ukrainian soldiers whom it could not detect. The T-90 tank, which was hit by an RPG attack, still manages to survive the first attack. Russian engineering has used all its skills for the T-90 tank against such attacks. While the tank continues to advance after the attack it receives, it encounters a second RPG attack. Despite being hit, it is still able to continue. A soldier from the Ukrainian Azov regiment launched a Javelin missile against a Russian armored vehicle in a deserted village near Kreminna. The strike successfully hit the target, causing a large explosion and destroying the vehicle. The surrounding area appears to be abandoned, with no civilians present. The Russian crew was either neutralized or forced to flee. In the meantime, you can support us by liking and commenting on our content. We need this to continue producing these videos. This area has seen increased activity in recent weeks as Ukrainian forces continue to monitor and target Russian movements near Kreminna. The Ukrainian Dragon-type unmanned aerial vehicle is part of a new generation of loitering munitions designed for precision strikes behind enemy lines. Operated by the 119th Territorial Defense Brigade, this drone is capable of identifying and engaging targets with high accuracy. In this case, it unleashed incendiary munitions on a Russian trench near Kreminna, setting the entire position ablaze. As the fire spreads, surviving Russian troops are seen fleeing in panic, abandoning their defensive line. A BMP-3 armored vehicle captured by Ukrainian forces supports infantry during an operation against Russian trenches near the village of Vasilyevka. In several frontline sectors, Russian forces have been observed abandoning their vehicles during retreats under heavy fire. Ukrainian troops are quick to secure these vehicles, recover usable equipment, and in some cases, restore and repurpose them for combat operations. Footage from recent clashes shows multiple Russian armored vehicles left behind, some fully intact. After rapid inspections and minor repairs, these vehicles are being integrated into Ukrainian assault units and turned against their former operators. Russian combat vehicle BM-21 Grad spotted near the town of Ugledar, Donetsk region. The Ukrainian 54th Mechanized Infantry Battalion, which immediately took action against the vehicle detected by the unmanned aerial vehicle that took off as a result of the attack on the trenches of Ukrainian soldiers, launched an attack with drones shortly afterwards. The vehicle, which was damaged by the bomb dropped by the unmanned aerial vehicle, immediately began to catch fire because it was full of ammunition. It is seen that the rockets in the vehicle were fired as a result of the explosion during the attack. The BM-21 Grad is a Soviet-era multiple rocket launcher system used extensively by Russian forces against Ukrainian positions. It fires 122mm rockets in rapid salvos, targeting wide areas and causing heavy destruction, especially in urban and frontline zones. Its use has led to significant civilian and infrastructure damage throughout the conflict. Near the village of Berkivka, Russian soldiers are attacking Ukrainian trenches with a military unit of about 30 people in 2 vehicles. Russian soldiers who quickly arrived in the area are settling in the forest. However, since their arrival was detected in advance, this attack will end in a great defeat. Ukrainian artillery unit is attacking Russian soldiers. As Russian troops attempt to position themselves in the wooded area, Ukrainian forces launch a coordinated artillery barrage. UAVs provide real-time targeting data, enabling precise and effective strikes. As explosions hit their positions, several Russian soldiers are seen trying to escape. The Russian soldiers do not even see a Ukrainian unit ready to return fire. The Ukrainian artillery unit continues to fire critically. The Russian soldiers begin to flee in panic in the face of this sudden and shock attack. They have no choice but to flee. With no chance of regrouping, the Russian unit is scattered and disoriented. Additional UAV footage from Ukraine shows secondary attacks targeting small groups of people trying to escape. The operation further highlights the effectiveness of Ukrainian forces' preemptive detection and rapid artillery coordination near Berkivka. The Ukrainian 3rd Assault Brigade launches an offensive against the ammunition depot near Praskoveyevka and the actively attacking howitzer. Airstrikes are carried out on these two targets whose coordinates have been determined. First, the ammunition depot is targeted and blown up. There is no need for a second attack on the Russian howitzer, because the howitzer, which is very close to the ammunition depot, is completely destroyed by the explosion. The war in Ukraine has been relentless since it began in February 2022, with no signs of slowing down. As of May 4th, 2025, the conflict continues to rage on, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Russia has managed to capture several key cities, including Mariupol, Donetsk, and Luhansk, but Ukrainian forces have not given up. They've launched counterattacks in the hopes of reclaiming lost territory, especially in the eastern and southern regions. Mariupol, a crucial port city, fell early in the conflict, marking a major victory for Russia. However, its capture came at a high cost, both in terms of infrastructure damage and human lives. The battle for Mariupol became a symbol of Ukrainian resistance, especially with the last stand at the Azovstal steel plant. Donetsk and Luhansk, parts of the Donbas region, were hotly contested even before the war. While Russia controls most of these areas now, Ukrainian forces continue to fight for every inch, launching regular attacks to push back Russian forces. Despite the odds, the front lines are constantly shifting, and Ukrainian forces have managed to make some gains. At the same time, Ukraine has continued to build up its defensive capabilities. Territorial defense units, like the Azov Regiment, have played a major role in holding the line, often carrying out sabotage missions and urban combat in areas under heavy Russian bombardment. These units, along with regular Ukrainian military forces, have managed to push back Russian troops in several regions, though the situation remains volatile. As we stand today, the war in Ukraine is far from over. The front lines continue to shift, and each day brings new risks and new tactics. While both sides have suffered immensely, the Ukrainian resolve remains strong, and they continue to fight for their independence and sovereignty. As the world watches closely, the outcome of this war will shape not just Ukraine's future, but the balance of power in Europe for years to come.